Are you a sleep consultant feeling stuck using rigid routines that just don't resonate with your clients? You're not alone. And today we're going to explore why traditional methods often miss the mark. By the end of this video, you'll uncover the 3 vital biological components that truly influence a child's sleep, equipping you with the knowledge to provide impactful support that sets you apart in your practice. I'm Lyndsey, and I've empowered over 600 sleep professionals to transform their practices through holistic sleep coaching. Many have gone from feeling unsure to confidently guiding families to better sleep. If you're ready to build your confidence and create a thriving sleep coaching business, I invite you to book a free discovery call with us. So many people know that sleep biology is important when they're working with families, but all too often there are gaps in knowledge, misunderstandings about sleep timings, total amount of sleep, or sleep planning. Getting to the root of the sleep drama often requires a really forensic look at these elements. Without this, you'll end up scratching your head over your sleep consultations more often than you'd like. Let's say a child is getting a totally average amount of sleep over 24 hours, which, if you've forgotten, for children from about 9 months to 2 years, that's around 11 to 14 hours in total in 24 hours. But the family reports that naps are unpredictable, bedtime's a struggle, no one's feeling confident. This isn't always a sleep quantity problem. It's often a problem of timing, regulation, and mismatch. What's really going on under the surface is often related to the interaction between these 3 systems: circadian rhythm, sleep pressure and sensitivity, and individual sleep needs. Of course, other factors such as stress, temperament, neurotype, regulation, development are also relevant, but today we're just focusing on the biology. When we isolate any single one of these elements or treat all children the same, we miss the nuance that actually drives effective sleep support. Let's take a look under the hood of these 3 aspects of sleep biology in turn. Firstly, the circadian rhythm. This is the internal body clock that governs when a child naturally feels sleepy or alert. Some children have a later chronotype. They're wired to fall asleep later and wake later. Others are more phase advanced, meaning they fall asleep earlier and wake earlier. While a child's chronotype can take a few years to emerge, extreme types often show their colours pretty early on. The circadian rhythm is also responsible for energy dips and peaks throughout the day. This rhythm functions best when it's anchored with consistency, particularly around morning wake-up. We're not talking about strict schedules for the whole day here. Naps absolutely should have some flexibility within reason. We're talking about the beginning and end of the day. Does this match a child's individual body rhythm? When it's unanchored or mismatched with the child's sleep opportunities, for example, a bedtime that's too early or a child who goes to bed at different times every day, we often see resistance at sleep times, even if a chemical called adenosine, which drives our need to sleep. The longer we're awake, the more adenosine builds. Sleep pressure is also affected by activity level, stimulation, metabolic rate, nutrition, and more. But what's often missed is how sensitive a child is to that pressure. Some children tolerate long wake periods calmly. Others become dysregulated quickly as the sleep pressure builds. Still others need the sleep pressure to be really high before they can easily fall asleep, irrespective of nap length. We can't always see it. Some children appear fine until they suddenly spiral. Others show dysregulation early. This is why we interpret sleep pressure alongside regulation, not just based on time, and it's why wake windows and strict prescriptive timings are often unsuitable. And finally, the sleep needs. This refers to the total amount of sleep a child needs in 24 hours, and it varies much more than the charts suggest. A child can be low, average, or high sleep need and still struggle with sleep if their timing and regulation are misaligned. We can't fix every issue by adjusting nap length or bedtime. We have to understand how sleep need interacts with the other 2 systems. But sometimes theory can feel a bit removed from the real world, so let's bring this together with 3 case examples. Think of circadian rhythm, sleep pressure, and sleep need as a Venn diagram. Where they overlap is that child's unique biological profile and where you're going to find the sweet spot. When those elements are misaligned or one is overemphasized, we often see persistent sleep challenges that are resistant to generic sleep tips. So, case example number 1. This is a child with low sleep need. They have a late phase circadian rhythm, and in terms of their sleep pressure sensitivity, they need very high sleep pressure in order to fall asleep. So this child needs less sleep overall than average and has a biologically later body clock. But they're sensitive to low sleep pressure, meaning they need to build up a good amount of pressure before they're ready to sleep. So what does that look like? Well, if the nap is too close to bedtime, even if the total amount of sleep in 24 hours is appropriate, the child hasn't had enough time to build enough sleep pressure. So even though it's bedtime, they don't settle. They may look wide awake or wired, but it's not behavioural, it's biological readiness. A child with this sleep profile may end up getting less sleep than they need, but the solution isn't an earlier bedtime or a longer nap to fix it. The common mistake here is assuming the child needs a later bedtime, but the issue isn't bedtime, it's the nap timing. While many low sleep need children do well with later bedtimes, the timing still has to work for them. So what you do, you extend the gap between nap and bedtime, you honour that later chronotype, and don't try and increase the total amount of sleep. Align the timing to that child's biology, which in this case just means an earlier nap. Case example number 2 is a child with average sleep needs. They have a late phase circadian rhythm, and in terms of their sleep pressure sensitivity, they cannot tolerate high sleep pressure. This child has an average sleep need and a later circadian rhythm, but they are sensitive to high sleep pressure. So long wake times result in stress and dysregulation. So what does that look like? Well, this child will start coping less and less well in the afternoon. Waking them earlier or trying a later bedtime results in a cranky, irritable child. You're going to get emotional outbursts, difficulty transitioning, more reactive behaviour, and often parents might try pushing the bedtime later to match that child's body rhythm, but things are going to unravel. So what we don't want to do is only adjust the bedtime without supporting regulation across the day. Instead, we need to respect the fact that this child needs a later sleep phase, but they can't manage that long stretch unless the naps are restructured. So you'll need to support regulation through later naps, balanced stimulation, calm down time, and responsive transitions. Finally, our third example, this is a child with high sleep needs. They have an early phase circadian rhythm and their sensitivity to sleep pressure is low, right? So this child needs a lot of sleep. They have an earlier chronotype, so that means they're biologically ready for bed early. And in case it's not obvious, unfortunately, this means they are probably a natural early riser too. But they have low sensitivity to sleep pressure, meaning they don't show clear signs of tiredness even when sleep pressure is building. So what happens? They appear fine in the evening. Maybe the parents delay bedtime thinking they're not tired or believe that their child has average sleep needs. Internally, the child may be running on empty, but no one's seeing the signals. The signs might be subtle, they might just be quiet or less willing to play as they become fatigued. The mistake here is waiting for tired cues that never come. While we would always recommend reading a child's unique behavioural signs and signals, not all children give us clear cues. So what you need to do here is not rely just on the outward cues. Use patterns, context, not just behaviour. You also want to increase stimulation earlier in the day to build pressure and protect that early bedtime, even if the child seems fairly alert. Use a solid, consistent pre-sleep routine and don't be nervous about dropping naps. Children who are not sensitive to sleep pressure are quite flexible in that respect, in that they can drop naps at typical or even slightly early ages as long as they get their total amount of sleep in 24 hours. Now, of course, There are multiple variations of these elements of sleep biology, but hopefully you can see that on a surface level, all three of these examples show how misleading sleep charts and tired signs can be. As professionals, we have to ask, what is this child's unique circadian rhythm? How do they regulate in relation to sleep pressure? What are their true sleep needs? And most importantly, how do these variables interact and show up? That's the level of clinical thinking we teach inside the Holistic Sleep Coaching Program. Once you layer on the underlying factors, play, stimulation, nutrition and feeding, development, temperament, sensory sensitivity, neurotype and family dynamics, you can see how unique each family is and how important it is that these nuances are addressed. If you're a current or aspiring sleep coach and this level of nuance resonates with you, I'd love to invite you to book a free call with us. On the call, we'll explore where you are in your journey, what kind of training or mentoring would support you, and whether our program is the right next step. This is where confidence, clinical clarity, and deep understanding come together. If you're ready to support families in a way that's evidence-based, nuanced, and genuinely responsive, this is the space for you. Hit like, subscribe, and book your free call using the link below. Thanks so much for watching, and see you in the next video.